In Dune Awakening, flower sand is one of the major materials that you'll need as an ingredient when you're upgrading your base, making weapons, and a number of other things to progress through the game. So as you can imagine, you're gonna need a lot of it. But luckily for you, it's not hard to collect. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna show you the sweet spots that I like to look for when I'm on one of my gathering runs. The best thing about it, you won't have to worry about that worm too much. Now the thing that's so special about flower sand is that it's used to make silicone blocks, which is a required ingredient in a large amount of products that you're going to need. Now it's not a 1-for-1, and you'll need 4 flower sand and 38 water to make 1 silicone block, which is not bad considering some of the other products. And on top of that, it doesn't weigh too much and it sits at 0.1 per sand. And even at that weight, I suggest that you bring a vehicle with some storage so you can stack up as much as you can on one run. Now speaking about bringing a vehicle, let's go over what you'll need to gather the sand, because you won't be able to gather it in the normal fashion that you would using the cut array. In fact, you'll need a completely different tool to gather. The tool that you'll need is called a static compactor. It's used to compact flower sand or spice sand in a nice clump so you can pick it up. Now once you research it, you'll need 10 iron ingots, 6 EMF generators. If you're having trouble finding EMF generators, try looking for the Fremen caves with the microfilm that you have to cut to get into it. You can also find them from raiding camps and outposts in chests if you're lucky. Now once you have all the materials you need, throw that into the fabricator, and when it's finished, make sure you put that into your bag before you head out. Next, you'll need to get yourself a power pack. Now I suggest you bring about 2 or 3 of these because a static compactor can run through these pretty quickly unless you spec into some skills that lower that battery usage. Put some points into the overcharge skill underneath the planetologist tree if you're interested in some lower electricity costs. When you're ready, grab a vehicle that has a storage attachment and head out. What you're going to be looking for is white clouds or mist coming up from the sand. I suggest that you stay close to the edges of the mountains to make sure that you're safe from the worm. And if you have an onocopter, just make sure that you don't fly too low. When you find a spot with the white smoke, you'll need to head over to that spot, and that's when the fun starts. Depending on where you're at, you'll have to be quick. There's 2 methods to collecting the sand. The first way is to use a static compactor to shoot once into the sand and then gather it up. Or you can shoot the sand a bunch of times, then run around and pick them up all at once. That's the way I like to go. It's up to you and whatever feels safest. Just make sure that you're paying attention to the worm vibrations, because trust me, that worm can sneak up on you pretty quickly. Now there are some spots where you can collect flower sand without having to really worry about getting eaten by that worm. At the top of Western Vermilius Gap, near the wreck of Palace, you'll find some mountains. Near the edge of those mountains is where you can sometimes find flower sand spots that are not too deep in the open sand where that worm will bother you. You can sit there and gather all the sand that you want in peace. Now, spots like this do change, and I was lucky enough to find one. Just look around for spots like this if you're really not in the mood to risk it all for just a little bit of sand. Now let me know down in the comments some of the tips and tricks that you use to get your flower sand. I hope you enjoyed this one and learned something new, and I'll catch you in the next one.